Hello everyone, this is Ayad Boudiab. I'm a senior .NET application developer, and as you notice in these videos we've been discussing ASP.NET, ASP.NET 4 that is, and all the details of it, and we've covered some videos already. We talked about different items like the buttons and the submits and the form data and so on. I noticed that before I can proceed with the rest of the items, I need to sidestep a little bit and talk about CSS, that is Cascading Style Sheet. Now, working with CSS and using CSS is a core part of your work as a web application developer. You need to be using CSS to make things look different, things look nice. You need a way to separate the content of your pages from the way your pages would look like. You know, in the old days, some years back, you used to write an HTML page, and then you go on into the side of the page and you start formatting things the way you want. Make things bold, use different font, underline things, but you used to embed all that presentation look for your page inside the code. Now, what's the impact of that? Well, the impact is very hard, because what you end up doing is modifying every single page to match your need. Let's say your boss said that the font that he needs to use on the page is Times New Roman. So you use Times New Roman in your pages. You change the font in every single page to use that. And the next thing you know, your boss says, you know what, I don't like this font, I'd like to change it to Verdana. And then you start making your changes. You notice that you will have to visit every single page and make the changes of the font from Times New Roman to Verdana. That's very time consuming and tedious, right? So basically, that's where the CSS comes in. Cascading Style Sheet is the way to describe the presentation, the semantics of your pages. Means how your pages would look like. You create the content, and then somewhere else, somewhere separate, you create the CSS to say, for example, I want the font to be this, I want the underlined text to be this, the linked text to be that, and so on. So you have that separate from the page. So you can separate the content of your pages from the presentation of the page. That's the key point for using CSS. And in this video and the next few videos, I need to show you how we can use CSS, how it can be applied inside our pages, so then we can move on and continue the rest of discussions on ASP.NET. You notice in here that I already came to the Visual Studio and I started a new website. I named that website Working with CSS. I right-clicked on the site and I said add a new item, and that item I selected an HTML page. I gave it the name of the page and I clicked add. In this case I don't want to click add because I already have the page in there. It's called testcss1.htm. So I have a page, a simple HTML page, and that I need to add some styles to it. Let's go over the page a little bit and see what it contains before we can proceed with the rest of the work. You notice in here that the page has a simple title, and then inside the body I have a table. Inside the table I have table rows, 3 table rows. Every table row has 2 columns. The first one asking the user to enter the score, and the second one is the actual input to read the score. Same for the second one and the third one. After the table I have a horizontal rule. Then I have a div. The div, it says here's some text inside the div, just simple div. And then an HR, horizontal rule. And then you will have to look into those items. I have an unordered list with list items being review the code, take note, make recommendations. And then I have a paragraph with the lorem ipsum just for the simple text that I can display on the page inside a paragraph. Now if I take a look at the design, I notice that the first one I have a table with the 3 scores that I'm expecting the user to enter, a horizontal rule, a div, horizontal rule, some text in here with the unordered list of items, horizontal rule, and then the lorem ipsum text that I have inside the paragraph. You notice in here that Visual Studio is telling me that this is a paragraph. And then if I click on this that says this is the body, click on that says a TD, so it's helping me in knowing what am I looking at. So far then, I have a simple HTML page with what you see here. I right click on my page and I say view in browser. Let's just change a little bit the browser to see the text, and here it is. I have somewhere to enter my scores, and then a HR, some text, and some other text, right? Just simple HTML page with the appropriate information. Okay, let's close that a little bit and go back to the actual page here. Now what I want to do is basically show you how we used to do stuff and then progress to the way we do them right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to the top of the page